Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Wingecarribee Extraordinary Local Planning Panel meeting on the 22nd of January 2025. I declare the meeting open at 2:03 p.m. Apologies for our short delay. In accordance with the practice of Wingecarribee Shire Council, I acknowledge the Gundungurra and Tharawal people as the traditional custodians of this land we now call the Wingecarribee Shire. I pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I would also like to extend the respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders either present or watching online today. My name is Ian Reynolds. I'm the chair for this afternoon for today's panel. I have two expert members of the panel. On my right, Robert Stas. On my left, he's an expert, but he's actually the community member. Thank you, Robert. He's jumped the queue. And on my left, Sue Francis and Stephen Davies as our expert members. And apologies for that. Thank you. So there are no apologies. This meeting is being live streamed to Council's website, and the recording will be made available on the website after the meeting. If you have a mobile phone, if you're in the room, if you could turn that to silent, please. As I mentioned, there are no apologies. And just confirming with each panel member whether they have any declarations of interest, starting on my left with Stephen.
No declarations of interest.
Susan?
Sue Francis, no conflicts of interest.
I have none. And Robert?
No conflicts of interest.
Thanks very much. You'll see on the Council's website a copy of the operational guidelines for the panel, which we'll be following this afternoon. We have no planning proposals to consider this afternoon. We have three development matters, starting with item 6.1, which is a DA for the construction of a dwelling house at 5 Park Street, Wingello. There are no registered speakers for this item. I could just ask our panel members whether they have any questions for Council staff.
None from me.
None for me.
I have no questions.
And I have none either. That being the case, we'll move on to item 6.2, which is a proposal to amend the conditions relating to the temporary use of land at Berrima for its annual market event on Australia Day. Again, there are no speakers on this register for this item. Do any panel members have questions for Council staff? I do have one.
No, I don't have any questions.
I have no questions.
No questions have been answered by Council officers.
Thanks, Robert. My question to Council staff was the recommendation in the business paper is actually different to what the application was, what the application sought. Can you advise whether the applicant is happy with what's been recommended in the business paper?
For you, Chair, the application essentially improves the bump in and bump out logistics of the Australia Day event, and the application asks for a 7-day event period, let's say. The consultant planner has recommended a 3-day event, 1 day bump in, 1 day bump out. After speaking with the applicant and the staff involved in the event, they've said that a 5-day bump in, bump out type period suffices.
Thanks, Mr. McCabe. I note that the notification period for that proposed amendment doesn't close until close of business tomorrow afternoon. Is that correct?
That's correct. To date, we've received no submissions and it closes 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Thanks, Mr. McCabe. We'll take that into consideration when we consider our verdict on the matter. That moves us to item 6.3, which is a list of DAs that have been with Council for longer than 180 days since lodgement for the information of the local panel. Again, I'd ask panel members if there are any questions you have of Council staff.
No questions from me.
None from me.
No questions from me either.
And no outstanding questions from me either. that brings us to the end of the formal business of the panel meeting. We are in a position, normally we would actually adjourn to determine our views on these matters. We've had a chance to view the sites in question today. We've also had a couple of hours to discuss the matters with council staff and take into consideration the matters we saw on site. So rather than adjourn, we're in a position to move to our determination. So in relation to item 6.1, which is the construction of the dwelling house at 5 Park Street, Wingello, our determination is as follows. The panel determines development application DA 24/1490 for the construction of a dwelling house, including associated Section 68 works, on land at 5 Park Street, which is Lot 425, DP 1096435, Wingello, by approval, subject to the conditions specified in Attachment 1 in the officer's report and as amended below. The amendments being Condition 2A, addition of Condition 2A, 2A1, the external pallet identified in Condition 2 be amended to remove the monument colour bond from the roof and replace it with a mid-grey colour or similar. And 2, Romans 2, the landscape plan identified in Condition 2 be amended to include at least one canopy tree with the height at maturity of at least 10 metres at the southeast of the property, outside of the bushfire affected area. And the reason for those amendments is to ensure the development provides an improved level of amenity to the occupants and to better blend with adjoining development. And also an addition of Condition 19H as follows. Appropriate dust suppression measures be employed during construction, and the reason for that is to minimise off-site dust impacts. And the reasons for our determination will be published on Council's website. In relation to item 6.2, as mentioned during the proceedings, the panel notes that public notification of the proposed amendment closes on the 23rd of January 2025, and the bump out needs to occur for the Australia Day event on the 26th. Accordingly, the panel defers its decision on the proposed amendment until after closure of the consultation period and will meet electronically to determine the application. And in relation to item 6.3, the Wingecarribee Local Planning Panel notes the development applications that are currently being assessed, which have exceeded 180 days since lodgement. And I should note that the voting on all those 3 items was 4-0 in favour. So that brings to a close our meeting today, and I hereby formally close the meeting at 2:11 p.m. And thank you for your viewing. Thank you to council staff and my fellow panel members. Thank you.